Welcome to another edition of Keep It or Sell It. Today we're going to be talking about the Splawn Nitro. Let's get started. As you guys know, I'm going through all of the amplifiers in my collection and trying to make it the best decision on which ones I'm going to keep and which ones I'm going to sell. And today on the chopping block is the Splawn Nitro. Now this is actually a really good amplifier. I tried this out, it was probably about 2 years ago. Motor City had one, and it was loaded with KT88s. And man, I brought that thing home and I wasn't not expecting the thick, brutal chugs that this amplifier delivered, and I had to have one. I ordered one, called Scott Splawn up on the phone and ordered it, did a bunch of custom things to it and everything. And I love this amplifier, I really do. But it's been a while since I've played it, and you know, our tastes change, and we sometimes we grow out of things, you know, so let's see if this amplifier is going to stay in my collection. So what we're going to do is start out on the clean channel right now. I'll start it off with no effects, and that way you can hear it raw, and then I'll add the effects to it and see how it sounds after we dress it up. So let's get started. All right, it's gorgeous. By the way, here's the settings. Clean channels all the way over to, well, I guess it'd be the right. Hopefully I'm calling that out properly. I'm looking at a screen here. So yeah, that's how it's set up. So let's dress it up with the Julia chorus and the flashback 2 delay and see what it sounds like now. Well, it's a very nice clean channel. It's chimey, it's warm, it's big. It's got a really big full sound to it, and I don't hear any weakness in that channel at all. It's not the prettiest clean channel I've ever heard. I mean, that would be the Diesel Herbert and the JP Mark II C+, but it does sound very good. There's nothing I don't like about it, you know what I mean? So very, very good clean channel, and this is a really big sounding amplifier. And it might be due to the KT88s, it might be due to the transformers, or the combination of both, but this amp has a really enormous sound to it on both the high gain channel and on the clean channel. So now let's get to you know, the channel we're all waiting for. In fact, I'm going to keep the Mud Killer on while I introduce this channel because I want you to hear it in its best light, and then we'll start screwing around with it after that. Now that's just freaking nasty, isn't it? I mean, it's just a freaking evil sounding channel, but it's so great sounding as well. Just really brutal, very thick, very aggressive. The gain structure is tight and percussive, and it's sculpted, but there's a little bit of openness to it as well, you know. And I like the compression in this channel as well. It's compressed perfectly. You know, so it's got that really thick sound to it. The chugs are so beefy. You know, this is probably the chuggiest amp on my shelves, at least one of them for sure. And I just love how it feels, how it responds. The gain structure in it is amazing. It's just such a great amp. So let's go ahead and show you the settings. Now, honestly, I don't really want to dial this amplifier in because these are holy grail settings here, and I do not want to touch these knobs. I mean, there's one way to get shot at my house, and it's if you touch my Splawn Nitro. So take a look at it. I mean, I have the resonance set here. The presence is quite high, but it's a kind of a dark amp, so you can do that. And I have the B+ mod on this too, and I got that engaged. It gives it just a little more thickness. The bass is here, middle there, treble's pretty high. Again, it's kind of a darker amp, so you can get away with that. And the gain is at around 3 o'clock. Now, this isn't a super gainy amp like an EVH Stealth, or if you have the gain at like 11 o'clock on the red channel on the Stealth, that's usually really good for most people. This the tolerance on the gain knob on the Splawn Nitro is completely different. So don't think that I got the gain cranked just because it's at 3 o'clock. That's just the sweet spot if you're going to play this amplifier, especially doing metal and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and turn off the mud killer now and show you what it sounds like without it. It's surprisingly tight without an overdrive pedal, and I think some people, depending on the genre of music that they play, might prefer this amp without the overdrive pedal, but let's see what it sounds like without it now. All right, so without the overdrive pedal, it's really responsive and it's pretty darn tight. It's a little bit loose on the low end as far as extra bottom end, but that's what overdrive pedals are for. They tighten that up and sculpt out some of that low end. But yeah, this amplifier definitely is not lacking any low end, but the low end that's in it is very good. It's huge sounding, but it still remains pretty freaking tight and beefy. And if I was to not use an overdrive pedal with this amp, I would probably turn the resonance and the bass down a little bit, but I have it set up to use with a boost, so that's why I keep those levels the way they are in the amplifier, because as soon as I engage the boost, obviously it cuts some of that stuff out. But let's go ahead and play some more riffs without the overdrive, and then we'll engage the overdrive afterwards. Yeah, this amp is really chewy as well, like without the overdrive pedal or with it. It's fun to play. It's got a great feel, an awesome response to it. And I always say this, when I can feel the pick digging into the strings. It's got that chewiness to it. And it's just really, it's fun to play. So let me play a riff, and then when you see me reach down, that means I'm turning on the overdrive pedal, so you can hear the difference between when the pedal's on and when it's off. Yeah, when you engage the pedal, it becomes a little more responsive, and the top end has a nice snap to it. It just gets a little more texturized and a little more aggressive. By the way, the pedal I'm using is the mud killer. And just so you know, I'm going to keep the mud killer on for the rest of the video. Let's play some more riffs with the amp now while the pedal's engaged. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this amp is a total freaking keeper. This is one of the few amps that I have that even with the overdrive pedal off, there's times I actually prefer it that way when I'm playing rhythms and stuff on it. It just feels so good to play with or without the pedal. And I can't say that about all of the amplifiers that I have, but this is one of the rare ones where there's times where I actually forget that I turned the pedal off and I'm playing it, and I look down, I'm like, holy crap, I've been playing this thing for 15 minutes and didn't even realize the pedal was off, and I enjoyed playing it. You know, I mean, that is a very rare thing for me, because anytime you turn a pedal off on me, I'm usually like, oh, what happened? It feels like crap. What happened to the amp, you know? But with this amplifier, honestly, like I said, there are times where I don't care if the pedal's on or not. You know, for leads, it might be a little, you know, bit of a different story, but for rhythms, I'm telling you, this amp has a really special feel about it. And if you get one of these, get the KT88 version, because, man, I don't know, there's just something about those tubes with this amplifier, and that's what made me fall in love with it. I mean, when I called Scott, he was like, what do you want, EL34s? And I'm like, the one I tried had KT88s, and I just don't want to take any chances. I just want to stay with that. He's like, all right, there you go. And by the way, Scott Splawn is one of the kindest, most decent people out there to do business with. He really is. He's a great guy. So if you haven't done business with him yet, I suggest that you do. And I really want to support his business, because he makes great guitars. His amplifiers are amazing, and you know, even his take on the Marshall stuff with the quick rods is really good. And I shot out one of his quick rods with some Marshall stuff like a year or so back, and I remember really preferring the quick rod. It just had a nice feel to it. And I guess that's what I have to say about his amps, is like they all have a really good feel to them. They're all nice and chewy and responsive. They have just that right amount of sag to them where when you dig in, it just feels so satisfying to play through them, you know, with or without the overdrive. So yeah, I'm going to keep this amplifier. I'm never going to sell it. I mean, this is one of those amps that every time I plug into it, I'm extremely happy with it. I don't have to adjust to it. Even if I haven't played it in a while and I've played other amplifiers, every time I plug back into it, I'm like, yep, I still love this amplifier. In fact, playing it right now makes me miss it even more and wonder why I don't play it more. But, you know, when you have a YouTube channel and you're, you know, dialing in amps all the time and shooting stuff out all the time, you don't have a chance to play all your favorite amps as much as you want to. In fact, this week I've been spending a few days on that new Tonex pedal. Yeah, wait till you see my video about that. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. I'll put it to you that way. So let's go ahead and end the video with a celebration that I'm keeping this amplifier with a quick mix. that wasn't my best version of that song, but holy crap, the chugs on this amp are just so thick and nasty. I mean, yeah, it just sounds so amazing, you know, and I'm just going to leave that mix as it is. I can take 27 more takes on it, but I don't care. I just love how good this amplifier sounds and feels. It really does have a great response to it, and it's probably the thickest chugs I have on the shelves anyways. So if you don't think Splawn amps can do metal, think again, especially with the Nitro. The Nitro is definitely, I don't know, in my opinion, that's Scott Splawn's take on a metal amp, and it really does sound awesome. So if Splawn hasn't really been on your radar, I suggest that you take a look at his amplifiers. They're really good. Well, like I said, I'm keeping this thing. It's amazing. I love this amplifier, and if you get a chance to check one out, I suggest that you do. And like I said, Scott Splawn is a really cool guy. He's a great guy to do business with, and I would really love to support his business by sending more people to him because he deserves it. Well, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And to all my Patreon supporters and subscribers, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And if you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I come out with new episodes or go live. By the way, stay tuned to the channel because I have an interesting Tonex video coming up for you guys very soon. I've been really working hard on this, and it's going to be kind of interesting. Well, I got a lot of great stuff coming up for you guys. I'll see you on the next one.